Welcome to the ITZINU Podcast by Renee Elliott. I'm here to help you find your balance and live your best life guilt-free. I don't believe there's a one-size-fits-all approach for health and fitness. We're all different and we need to find out what works for us. I'm passionate about helping women make realistic, long-term lifestyle changes that they will stick to and they'll be able to take with them forever. I don't believe in crazy diets or short-term fixes. We all need to find a life and a balance that suits our individual needs. I believe we need to dig deeper and work on our mindset first so we can be prepared to face any hurdle throughout your wellness journey. I'm here to give you the confidence and knowledge to do so. So welcome to the ITZINU Podcast by Renee Elliott, because it is in you. So today I want to talk about looking within, actually looking within yourself and really starting to work out what you actually want. And, I had to do this for myself. It is something that I'm always reassessing. I'm always looking at what I want, or I'm rethinking about what I'm doing. And it's a constant journey. But I am also surprised how some people don't spend the time to look within. It's probably something I did ignore for a long time. I had when I was growing up, my mum, she really got into, she had a breakdown, and she found lots of positive help books. And because she obviously got really passionate about it, and she found that it helped her, she kind of preached a lot. And I used to call it positive shit. And I was like, and she was always putting that stuff onto us. So I was kind of really, really against a lot of that stuff for a long time, I think, because of how it was kind of pushed down. And then sometimes we have little chuckles because I come out with all these positive things. I was always kind of revolting against it as I was growing up. Anyway, side point. But to truly get your results, I think probably one of the hidden things, or one of the overlooked aspect, is actually starting to really look within. And, you could exercise every day. You could eat the perfectly foods. But if we haven't got our mindset and our head in order, it can be the thing that holds you back. And you might be someone that's like, well, I'm doing everything right, but it's still not working. And, maybe it's time for you to actually, to look within and to look at where you're at and what your beliefs are, are you actually doing what you want to do, or are you doing something because you feel you should be doing it, or somebody's told you have to do it? So with me, I got to a point where I was like, I realized that there was, you're going through the motions of life, and there was things that, I was maybe not happy with. And I realized I was waiting for things to get better. So I was saying, I'll do this when this gets better. I'll do this when everything will be okay when this happens. So I was putting all my eggs in the basket of waiting on somebody else to change, or something else to be better. And I came to this realization where it's like, I can't change anyone else. I can't change them. I can't fix them. I can't do this. I can only focus on me. And everybody else can either come with me for the journey, or maybe I have to work myself, I could only work on me, and I was relying on external factors or everyone else to change. So that was like a really big realization for me, because I caught myself, and I'd probably been running on that vibe, or running that way, thinking that way for a while, and I didn't quite realize I was doing it. And that's why I said it's really important to start looking within and checking within yourself. And, so I've probably been doing work on me for at least the last 2 years. And it's been really good. It's been amazing. And, I wish I did it sooner. And so this is what I'm asking you to start to take a look within you. If you're looking for a fitness result, if you are looking for weight loss, if you are looking to have more energy, if you are looking, to look a certain way, or to increase your muscle mass, any of those things, but you're waiting for the perfect time, or you're waiting for something else to change for that to happen, I want you to just really start looking within, and to realize that the work all has to come from you. The work has to come from you, and only you can change that. And that was the biggest thing. The thing that I kind of realized about myself, and maybe hopefully people might think, oh yeah, I do that too, or maybe not. But for me, I didn't quite, you just kind of go through the motions of life and everything else. And I didn't take the time to think about what I was doing. Like I have a vision of where I would like to be, but I didn't realize that I had these beliefs. I had these beliefs about how we should act, or what I should do, or how we should exercise. I had all these certain types of beliefs, and maybe, and it got to a point where I didn't realize that they were, I guess, running my life, but they weren't probably supporting where I actually wanted to be. And, you have these values that you're brought up with, and with, and some are amazing, and we carry them through life, but other values, maybe those values are actually holding us back. So I had to look within those things and see, are they still supporting where I want to be? Are these things helping me be the person or live the life that I want to be? Because I really feel like the goal for everybody is just to be happy and to lead a good quality life. And I feel by eating well, by exercising, by working on your mind, it's really supporting having that good life. I don't know anybody that comes to a workout and says they regretted it. They wish they didn't do it. I know people that come and they finish their workout and they go, I'm so glad I came in the morning. I know lots of people that we were just talking about it this week in classes, that people, it's getting colder here. They feel, you feel less inclined to get up early in the morning. But, they get up and then they go, or the alarm goes off and they skip the alarm. And then they think, God, I wish I got up, because then they regret it all day. So, so I really want you to think about is what is it that you actually really want? What is it that you want? What do you actually want? And are you living according to that? Lots of us get caught up in life. Sometimes you might be in survival mode. You might just be like, I just need to get through this day, or I've got sick kids, or I've got little babies, or I've got lots on with my work, and you're just in survival and you're just trying to survive each day. But years go really quick. We're nearly in the middle of this year already, and where did that go? So it's important. I just think it's really important to start looking within and checking in with yourself. It is so important, and it makes such a difference. So my biggest realization was that only I could change. Only I had to focus on myself. I had to focus on myself, and all the external factors that I was waiting to change or waiting for them. I might think, with this person, I remember being in a job and I hated the job. But I knew that I needed to be there I knew I needed to be there because we just moved back to Australia, and you needed a full-time job would look better, obviously, to get a mortgage. So that was why I was in this full-time job. But it was a really toxic environment, and I kept thinking it was full of all these menopausal women, and I was only in my late 20s. I remember I was waiting for external factors to make it better, and the thing is that I was waiting for, if this person leaves, then then the work will be okay. But, I had to look at myself and how I dealt with those people how I dealt with them, because I couldn't, if I spent forever waiting for them to leave, maybe they were never going to leave. But I had to live with myself every day. So I had to look at how I perceived what they were doing, or, how I dealt with their negativity. I had to look at all of those things, and I changed my perspective. So within this job, I thought, okay, it's, if I leave now, then, you then have to wait a certain amount of time to be at a job for a certain time before you can get a mortgage and all those other things. So I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change how I see the job. So I saw the job as this is to get me to this point. So I need to get to this point. And once I changed my headset about the job, so instead of focusing on the negative people in the office, I focused on what the job was giving me. So the job was giving me the opportunity to get a mortgage, and this was over 12 or so years ago. So I'm very grateful that I stuck that out. and that I got through it. And once I changed my headset, the work didn't seem as bad. And, so this was, again, instead of focusing on those factors, I had to focus on something within me that was, I guess, helping me. And so what I want you to think about or to look in is to look within you. To look within you. If you have a fitness journey or you have a wellness journey, any of those things, and are you somebody that is waiting for something else to get better? Are you waiting for all the stars to align? Are you waiting for this person? Because maybe those things are never going to happen. So maybe it's time to start looking within you and you take charge. Because those people that you're waiting on, they might either choose to come along for the journey with you, or maybe you'll grow so much that maybe they're not aligned with you anymore or not supporting you in the way of where you want to go to. But, you see people that spend their lifetime, like something I don't want to have is regret. I don't want to have regret for not doing the things that I wanted to do or living the life that I want to do, but being on a standstill and waiting for somebody else or other things, that maybe it will never happen, and maybe, there would be that regret there. So by realizing this, I realized I just had this realization one day that I was waiting for other people to change or other things to change, but it was actually me that needed to just do the work on myself, because that's the only I can't hope that somebody else does something. You can only think about you, and you can only focus on you, and how I think and how you think are completely different. You can't force somebody to think or be a certain way. And that's why I think it's really important to really start looking within you. And when you start to look within you and work on you, and that's where the results happen. That's where the true results happen. Not by, like I said, we could have the perfect eating and exercise, the right amount of time, exercise, all of those things. If we have these other external factors that are causing us stress, getting us down, all of those things, then maybe that's why you're not actually getting the results you want to get to. So what's the things that if you were thinking maybe this is something that's going on with you, what would I suggest for you to do? So I would suggest to you, firstly, to start thinking about what is your beliefs. So what do you believe in? And have you ever actually asked yourself that question? And when we do certain programs of ours, it's one of the first things we ask is like, what do you believe in? Because if you have these beliefs that you should be acting a certain way or doing things a certain way, and you're not doing that, then maybe you're never going to actually get the result you want to. Or if you believe that the only way to lose weight is exercising 3 hours a day, if you've got that belief system in you, you don't do that, then you'll never get your result. That's not actually, you don't need to exercise for 3 hours a day in order to get a result. So that's why we want to see what your beliefs are. What are the things that maybe you've been taught as you've been brought up? This whole concept of people thinking about food-wise, they have this good or bad food. And, we really want to get rid of that concept of good or bad. And people have these beliefs, and maybe these beliefs have come from your upbringing. Maybe they've come from, people that you've known, or you've taken this one piece of information and you believe that piece of information to be true. I was talking to somebody yesterday and she was talking about good or bad food. And she said, because she has this belief of that certain foods are good and certain foods are bad. So when she eats the so-called bad food, she then beats herself up. But the food that she's believing to be bad isn't actually that bad. And that's what I said, we have these certain beliefs about things, and then that puts us on a different trajectory. And it's not true. This whole concept of good or bad food. And, or people believe that they have to exercise in a certain way. And so you have this belief that I have to exercise this way to get a result. And then if you don't do that, then you either give up because you're not exercising for 3 hours a day. So you give up because you're like, well, I'm not going to get the result. And you don't stick to anything because you're not doing what you believe to be done. But the thing is that we want to question these beliefs and where did they come from? And is these beliefs still serving you? And did it come from a reputable source? Did it come from an old wives' tale of, we listened to a podcast the other day, so I was driving the car with the kids, and I thought, instead of listening to music, maybe there'd be an interesting story where they could learn something. So anyway, Cooper turned on this podcast that was about, does video games fry your brain? That was the podcast. And, that they were saying in there, well, where did you hear this from? Is this what your parents have said to you? And so then they went into what actually, what video games do and that it wouldn't actually fry your brain. So what things what are your beliefs? So that's what I would start to look at. What are your beliefs? What have you been told? What have you been told about certain things? And maybe start to question some of the things you've been told. Is it something that you've been told from childhood? Unfortunately, a lot of people have, they might have beliefs or about health and fitness or about their bodies or about themselves that have come from somebody else. So we have this belief system that's come from somebody else, but maybe that belief system is their problem. Maybe it's their health issues, not yours. And have you, without realizing it, because I've done it myself, have you then taken on that belief system and made that to be yours? And then you've then carried that into your life and on your wellness journey. And maybe it's time to let go of some of those things. So I would just I'm all about writing things down, keeping it. I love writing things down and putting it in a journal, getting it out of my brain. But I want you to think about, what are your beliefs? So if we stop and we think, okay, I would really like to I would really like to lose some weight. Okay. So your goal could be that you'd like to lose some weight. What are your beliefs around losing weight? Are they that it comes easily to you? What are your beliefs around losing weight? Are your beliefs that everything you try doesn't work? That the only way that you can lose weight is by really, really restricting your food and over exercising? So what are your beliefs around that? And then I want you to question them, because and where did that come from? Did it come from experience? Did it come from experience? Did it come from hearing somebody else? What are those beliefs? Because they can be changed, and what you're believing about yourself is maybe not true. I have lots of experience because I've trained so many people, and I've seen so many people from all different aspects of life. And then you get them and then they come and they speak to you, oh, this doesn't happen to me. My body won't do that. Why won't it do that? Let's look at this. And when you start to understand your body better, start to understand how it works and look at all the aspects, then maybe these belief systems that you have isn't working for you anymore, but it's actually not true. Someone else I was speaking to during the week was talking about weight loss, and, they were talking about their food, and they were saying that they, it just doesn't happen for them and they can't do this. And when she started talking about her food and she, talked about what she ate in the day, I said, oh my God, I said, you're only eating like 60 grams of protein in your whole day. No wonder you are wanting to eat chocolate at night time. I would do exactly the same thing. You're not eating enough. But she had a belief system that you have to eat less in order to lose weight. So that belief system was stopping her from actually getting the result that she wanted. So I'm asking you to start looking within for this. So first thing is I would look at your belief system. What are the things that you believe, and maybe start to question, are they true or not? Are they true or not? And where did this belief system come from? I always talk about that when our families have always the best intentions for us, but sometimes you take on someone else's belief system. So when I was younger, I worked, my first job was in a florist, and the owner of there was like a family friend, those type of people that you call auntie, and they're actually not your auntie, not your biological. Anyway, so that was fine. And so as I was growing up, so I think I started working there when I was 14 or something. I was working there, and then one day she said to me, "You're really unlucky, you've got no boobs." And at that point, I didn't realize I did have boobs. I didn't have large boobs, but I did have a chest. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me that was my chest size. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I didn't think I was any different to anyone else. But she had a belief that bigger boobs are better, and totally fine. But she said this to me, that I was really unlucky that I was really unlucky that I didn't have a chest. And I didn't see myself as unlucky at that time. I didn't see it as a disadvantage, but she did. And then I started to go, oh, I don't have a chest. My body's not as good as somebody with a chest. So do you know what I mean? I then took on her belief system. Before she'd made that comment, I didn't think there was anything wrong with my chest size. So what I'm saying is there could be things that somebody has said to you that's maybe, again, and it is something that I accept and more love about my body, but I have always had more musclier thighs. I've had more muscly thighs. And when I was, again, younger, somebody said to me, "Your thighs are like tree trunks." And so I went on to believe that they were not as good, or that they weren't good because of this person saying that I had thighs like tree trunks. Well, I always have quite muscly legs, and it's just I hold more weight down there, but that's something that's genetics, a bit that I can't change. But it was something that I spent a long time, I guess, not liking about my body, but that was someone else's belief. And I'd taken that belief on. So what I'm saying to you is to question, what are some of the beliefs that you believe about your body? What are some of the beliefs that you believe about health and fitness and wellness and getting the result that you want to do? Do you have this certain belief? And are you carrying that on? And maybe that's not supporting you anymore. Maybe that's not actually getting you to where you want to be. And maybe it's start looking at these things instead of focusing on exercising more and exercising more and eating less food. Instead of focusing on all of those things, maybe start focusing on what we're actually thinking and what we're believing about ourselves. The next thing I would think about is, what are your actual values? So what are your values, and what do you value in life? And what is these things that you value, and are you living according to that way? So, like somebody once we've talked about this in workshops and that, and we talked about values, and their values was family and spending time with the family. And I was like to them, but are you actually doing that? And they were like, no. So, and if we're not living, if we have these values of what we believe, and if we're not living according to these values, then maybe that is something that's holding us back as well. That's one of the things that's holding us back. So start questioning these things and start really, really looking within to get the results. Yes, food, exercise, they're one aspect and they're an important aspect, but there are all these other things that we also need to look at. And I really believe that when you start looking within and thinking about, like, what is my why? Why am I here? What do I want out of life? What do I want? And is spending my life over exercising? Is that giving me what I want? Could I find a different balance? Could I exercise 3 times a week? and not feel guilty about it, and understand that I'm exercising 3 times a week. I'm still healthy. I'm still fit. I can do the things I want to do, but I can also then spend more time with my kids, or I can have this time relaxing, or I can go out and do this, or do we have these beliefs that the only way to be healthy is exercising, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, so really start questioning what your values are and what your beliefs, and are they aligning with what you truly want out of life? And, the biggest thing is that, I had a friend visiting, and she just had a recent breakup, and I said to her, what do you want? Like, what's your end result that you actually want in life? And she couldn't even answer that. She couldn't answer that question, where it's something that I think about a lot, because I want to make sure that I'm aligned with, I really, because I have looked within myself, I've done the work. And before I'd done the work, I didn't know these things, because I didn't even see it as important. But because I have done the work, I do know what I want in life, and it can change. And I question it, and I think about it, and and I'm always rethinking about it. And I'm just making sure, am I living towards that? Because we get into, robot mode type thing, and we just go with the flow of everything. And then sometimes I have to stop myself and think, am I still living to my values? Am I focusing on my why? Am I still living core to my why? Am I doing what I want to actually get out of life? And, and this friend, she couldn't actually answer that question, and we said, take some time and think about it. Think about what is it that you truly want out of life. And, and when we think about that, exercise and wellness and health and all that, it doesn't become such a chore. It becomes, we realize, I'm doing this, and, I'm doing this because this is what I want to get in long term out of life. Maybe when you look at your beliefs, and please write it down. When you get it down on paper, you can look at it. We get it out of our head and you can see it. Write it on your phone or piece. I'm a pen and paper girl, but write it out and see. And when you do that, are these beliefs still supporting that long-term life goal? If it's not, then it's okay. Get rid of them. Change them. Get a new set, and just realize that that's not supporting you anymore. So please do the work and do the time to just have a little look within you, and understand that are you just going with the motions of every day? Are you doing things because you feel you have to do them, or are you doing things because you actually want to do them, and you understand that deeper result? So please think about them. And I really, spend the time to write it down. I would love to hear if you do spend some time and you do write it down, what you actually realize about yourself. It's a really great task to do. Okay, I will speak to you all soon.